Hello everybody, welcome back to another amazing episode on Life with Mokes. Yes, you can see Judah in the background. He's gonna be here with me today. I'm trying to record this video so that I'm able to put out content because I'm passionate about it. But the baby's there, so hopefully he stays still throughout so I can finish it. So last time I spoke about my birth story, and then I also put clips of my birth vlog. And yeah, thank you so much for engaging in that video. I see all the comments and the love. I appreciate you guys. Like, I wouldn't be here without your support and your love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So today I want to talk about my pregnancy journey. Like, I'll be talking about my first trimester, second and third symptoms I experienced, and giving tips here and there on how to maximize your pregnancy journey, and I guess like things that would help you just throughout the journey and the process. So okay, so we're just gonna get right into it. My first trimester. Okay, let me just start by saying how I got pregnant. If you've watched my, I guess, gender reveal, I spoke about it in that video, but I'm just gonna give like a quick summary. So basically, I just like never missed my period, which is what happens, right? And I missed my period, and so I was like, oh my god, what's happening? Because usually it's right on time or it's early. And so I missed my period, and my husband went to the store, got a pregnancy test, and when I took it, I was like, oh my god, literally I was in the house, and then he was getting the groceries from outside, and I ran out and I was like, oh babe, I'm pregnant. And he's like, shh, bring your voice down. Like, why are you shouting? Like, it was in the middle of the night. Well, not like middle of the night, but like it was late in the night. And then he's like, everybody can hear you. Because I was so shocked. Like, I didn't really expect that I was gonna get pregnant, but like it happened anyways. So when I found out I was pregnant, it was mixed feelings, to be honest. I was like, oh my god, this is like a lot of information. Wow, I'm going to be a mother. I feel like a baby. Me, this girl of yesterday, this person that is still very playful. I'm not going to be somebody's mother. I have to become like responsible. Not like as if I was not responsible before, but like it just felt so serious to become a mom. Like, you know what I mean? And so like, I prayed to God before my pregnancy. I was like, God, just give me a smooth pregnancy. I don't want to go through any vomiting or nausea, or even if I do, it should be very minimal. And I want to be able to do everything that I usually would do, because before I got pregnant I was very active. I used to exercise a lot, and I used to do a lot of things. So I'm like, I just want to do that. I want to basically just be doing my stuff with a bump. That's what I said to God, right? And so everything went on because I found out really early. So I found out at 5 weeks. And then okay, so I'm just gonna say this for people who are going through something similar. One of the things that I found out when I was pregnant at 5 weeks, when I started spotting. So for anyone who doesn't know the meaning, it's when you're bleeding when you're not on your period. So it's like light bleeding. Usually wouldn't feel a pad, so it's very light, and you usually will notice it when you wipe, right? So that's pretty common in the first trimester. So if you're pregnant in your first trimester and you're wondering and you're scared, don't be, because that's usually common. What I would advise is just watch it to make sure that you're not bleeding heavily, and you also need to talk to your OB about it, just to make sure that it's not like because most people might think it's a miscarriage, but usually it's more common that it's just a normal thing that happens, and then it will eventually fizzle out. But also just let your doctor know, just so that they can monitor it with you as well. Yeah, so I went through that phase. I spotted for about 2 days, and then it went away. So then my first trimester at 6 weeks, I remember like everything just changed. It was a Monday, and I can't remember what I had. Like, I probably had like, I'm not sure what food I ate, but it was something I usually eat regularly. So I think it was probably rice, because that's what I eat a lot. And then I just threw up. And I was like, oh my god, then my mouth started tasting very funny. Like, started tasting like, anyone that's had malaria or anyone that's felt very sick, and you have this, like, I don't know how to explain the taste. It's like your mouth isn't clean. It has like a funny, like, weird taste. That's how my mouth felt. So I was like, oh, okay, what's going on? So me, I thought, okay, maybe this is just gonna be like a one-time thing, because it, you know, they say, oh, morning sickness, right? You get sick in the morning. So I'm like, okay, no problem. So then I just realized in the afternoon, I vomited like twice again. In the evening, I vomited like another 1 to 2 times. I'm like, okay, you know, maybe it's just like today. And that's how my whole pregnancy went about. Yes, basically I vomited throughout my whole pregnancy. So from that 6 weeks, I started vomited hey, madam, sorry. I started vomiting so much. It was so bad, guys. Nothing stayed down, absolutely nothing. There's nothing I did not try. I tried to eat pap. I'll put it up for people who don't know what that is. So it's like, I think it's like cassava that's I grinded or something, grinded cassava, I think that's what it is, but I'll just put a picture up. So I used to take that because that's supposed to help you. So I'll take that without sugar, but I'll throw it up. I couldn't drink water as well. So basically, every time I drank water, I'll feel even more nauseous, and I just used to vomit so much. I'll vomit so much that I started vomiting blood as well, not because I was bleeding internally, but because the lining of my throat got irritated because of how much I retch. So I was vomiting like 6 to 7 times daily, you know, during that period. And I spoke to my OB about it. You know, I was so frustrated. I even had to take 2 weeks unpaid leave from work because I couldn't work absolutely nothing. I was weak, tired. I remember this one time that I went to the hospital. My husband had gone to choir practice and I was home alone by myself, you know, and I hadn't peed for, I think I peed like once in like 2 days or something. So I was extremely dehydrated because I was not able to keep food down. I was not able to keep any water down as well. And so that day I felt so drained. Like I felt like my soul was about to leave my body. I felt like I was gonna die. I had called my brother, he was far away. My other friend was far away. So I took a cab to the emergency and I was just crying and like I could not walk. And when I got to the hospital, then I spoke to this doctor that said, oh, you know, what's going on? So I told her like I'm vomiting like so much, you know, I'm not able to keep anything down. And then she said, okay, you know, what she's gonna say is, she asked me if I was taking any drugs. Okay, yeah, by the way, my OB prescribed something called diclectin. It's a drug that's supposed to reduce you know, the nausea and vomiting. No, not the nausea, actually, reduce the vomiting. So I was taking it, but it wasn't really helping me. So when I got to the hospital, they gave me a drip, and then the name of the medication is called Zofran. It felt so good because like once I took it, I felt like I was in the heavenlies. I was like, oh my God, you know, this is interesting. I could now like feel not nauseous anymore. And I was so happy for the duration of this. I stayed in the hospital for probably around 4 hours maybe. And then once I got home, literally, as I entered the house, I vomited again. It was the most tasking and challenging time of my life. I was just like, oh my God, I hate myself. I hate my life. Like, this is so horrible. And another thing that, you know, happened during my first trimester. And for those that don't know, trimester is basically just, you know, dividing your pregnancy journey, which is 9 months, into 3 sections. So first 3 months, first trimester, next 3 months, second trimester, and then the last 3 months, third trimester. So another thing that, you know, really bothered me during my first trimester was smell. Everything smelled disgusting. We had to get rid of all the fragrances in the house. So like air fresheners, I wasn't using any deodorant. Like my husband couldn't use perfumes, and everybody's mouth smelled to me. I know, like it was so horrible. Like I'll tell my husband, like when he's talking, I'm like, oh, please don't talk in my face. Not because his mouth was smelling, but because everything smelled weird. Like I can't explain it. It was so challenging. I would cry all the time, like, oh my God, this baby is stressing me. My mom will call me and be like, oh, what's going on? I'll be like, I can't do this, I'm so tired. You know, so that's basically like a summary of my first trimester. It was just vomiting, and then I basically, okay, things I ate, managed to eat. So I ate things like yam and oil, so just like bland yam with oil. Sometimes I'll eat oat and banana, so without sugar, just bland, even if I throw it up. But then there were things that they advised me to eat, just bland food. Sometimes I'll eat bread, just bread by itself. Sometimes I'll eat crackers, and because I couldn't drink water, my husband would help me mix water and Ribena. banana. Sometimes I'll take it, sometimes I wouldn't. Water and malt as well. That's something I took for a long time. I also took gari water. So I'll put my gari. Gari is like grinded or like grated cassava. So I'll put water inside of it, and then it will give the water like a kind of sour taste, so to say. And that helped me because it wasn't bland, so it helps me keep my water down as well. For people that don't know, when you vomit that much, you should probably go check to see if you have something called Hyperemesis, Gravidarum, because that's something that a lot of people probably have without knowing. Once you vomit 3 to 4 times, more than 3 to 4 times every day, then you most likely have hyperemesis. Obviously, your OB has to confirm to you, right? And then second trimester comes. My second trimester was actually pretty good because then I started like, I was still vomiting, but then the vomiting actually reduced. So probably like, I think maybe 2 times daily, 2 to 3 times every day, you know, I was getting my appetite back. But the only thing I could eat, guys, guess what it was? Indomie noodles, of all things. So every day for my second trimester, I was eating Indomie, either for lunch, for breakfast, or dinner, basically. And then I started eating things like rice and stew, but I could not eat fish, I could not eat chicken, I could not eat shrimp. The only protein I could handle was eggs. So alternative, either I have boiled eggs or fried eggs. So that's what I basically could tolerate. And I'll eat like spaghetti. You know, swallow was a no-no for me. Like, literally, if you know me, pounded yam and vegetable soup, that's my go-to. Like, I enjoy eating it. Like, I live for it, right? But I couldn't eat that. I couldn't eat banga soup. I couldn't eat okra soup. I couldn't eat bono soup, egusi soup, nothing. I know the worst part of it is that my husband would actually ask me, what do you want to eat? I'm like, I want to eat this. He would go out of his way to find it. When I eat it, it all comes out. So I just stuck to the things that worked. You know, my rice and stew, things spaghetti and stew, Indomie, and that's what basically I was eating. You know, second trimester was nice because my skin was glowing. Although for some reason my lips were always chapped. My lips are always chapped for some reason. I don't know why. I guess like because I was not drinking as much water. But for my second trimester, I was able to handle more water as well. You know, that went well. You know, I started taking pictures. I went out a few times. We did our baby moon. I'll see if I can put like short clips of, you know, my pregnancy when I was popping. I used to put on makeup. I just looked good. My bump was cute. You know, I hadn't put up too much weight because I was vomiting, right? So I wasn't adding weight and stuff. So it was just a cute phase. You know, I felt very nice and all that. And then third trimester happened. In the third trimester, I started having something called round ligament pain. So basically I would walk and my hips would just like, it would be like a sharp pain, and it would be so bad that I would not be able to walk. It was so very painful. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention then, I started having heartburn as well. So basically, I would eat and then it would come all the way up and it would be burning my chest. Like, it would feel so uncomfortable. Like, it was just so much. Like, so challenging. Like, every time I ate, and I only could eat like in small bits and pieces. That's advice for you as well, because, you know, as the baby grows, you start having like little to no room for food and things like that. So you should eat in small bits so that you're not like overly full, because that can bother you. Also, another thing, because I got big for my second trimester, I had to sleep on my side. They advise I sleep on the left side because that's the best side for maximum oxygen flow to the baby. So imagine that I was not able to sleep on my tummy, I was not able to sleep on my back. Sleeping on your back is actually the worst because it blocks a nerve that sends oxygen to the baby, according to, you know, what people say. I don't know if it's true or not, but I just didn't do that, right? And then my third trimester, another thing I started feeling was I felt a lot of pressure in my, you know, private area for some reason. So every time I went to the washroom to pee, there was just so much pressure there. You know, it was so uncomfortable. Every time I needed to use the washroom, every time I needed to poop, you know, it was very uncomfortable and stuff. So, third trimester as well, I felt very bloated easily, quickly. I usually felt so bloated. I felt like, oh my God, if I eat like a small piece of meal, I feel like, oh my God, I've eaten so much and stuff. Yeah, so basically, my pregnancy journey was okay. Not the best, to be honest, because like I said, I vomited throughout my pregnancy. But, you know, tips I'll give you, you know, if you're going through your pregnancy is drink as much water as you can, because it's very important, because then you're giving your baby enough, your baby's breathing enough amniotic fluid, which is necessary and keeps the baby, and can prevent preterm labor, so going to labor before time. Another thing I'll say is exercise as much as possible. I couldn't exercise until maybe my 3rd trimester, and when I say exercise, I just basically was taking walks, little walks here and there, because of how sick I was, right? But it's good to exercise because it helps you, keep you're flexible, and then, you're active, and eventually when it gets to the time when the baby's about to come, it helps you with like a seemingly easier labor, and then your body's just more flexible when it's time for you to push. And another thing I would advise is, surround yourself with a community that supports. My husband was there for me like 100%. My friends were there for me. My mom was there for me. My parents were there for me, rather. So it was such a beautiful thing, because it can be draining mentally as well for you, because your body is producing all these hormones, and your brain is interpreting it differently, and then you get so irritated. So it's good to have support. Obviously you can't do as much, you can't sweep, clean, do chores and all of that, so get a good community to support you as well. Finally, I'd say, just enjoy the pregnancy moment, because it doesn't last for long. I know when you get pregnant, it feels like, oh my god, 9 months, but trust me, it goes by so fast. Like, I look back on my pregnancy journey and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe that, I actually went through all of that, and I'm here now, and that's my baby right there. Like, it's so surreal. Take pictures, because sometimes my husband and I, we just like, I say hi, you're a bad girl. My husband and I just like sit down and look at pictures, and we're just like, oh my god, like, we can't believe that, this is what happened. And yeah, if you can't, take a baby moon with your partner. If you can't, just go somewhere and relax, so that you're able to just like maximize your time alone. I mean, like, if you don't have any kids already, before the kid comes, you can plan, have meaningful conversations about like how you like to raise your kids, talk about like planning for the baby's future and all that. So yeah, that's basically everything in summary. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you want to hear more about my pregnancy journey, like postpartum journey, just let me know, because I do have like a few tips on how I went through postpartum, because postpartum was the ghetto. Like, trust me when I tell you, like, there are lots of things that we don't talk about, but actually happens to the body of a woman when she has a baby. So yeah, I don't want this video to be too long. That's basically my pregnancy journey in summary. If you stayed to the end, thank you so much for always just like indulging me, listening to my story, even when it's interesting or not. I appreciate you, love you, and I hope to see you next time on the next episode. Have a wonderful one. Bye. Mwah.